What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Bills Chat halftime show. The Bills lead the Kansas City Chiefs by a score of 21-3. I am Josh McCarty here as always. Before I get going, though, I want to give a special shout out to three very important viewers today. I have Lily, Devin, and Kendall watching with me. One of those is a Chiefs fan. We're not going to mention who, but enjoying this game nonetheless. And so far, so good for the Bills, right? Like 21-13 at halftime. You would have signed up for that all day. The Chiefs right now are really struggling to get anything going when it comes to stopping James Cook. James Cook is taking off right from where he left off last week, 11 for 64, 58 yards. Josh Allen is 15 for 17 with 176 yards passing. A lot of that has come to Dalton Kincaid. Dawson Knox has gotten in on the mix. They're using a lot of that big personnel package that we talk about. That's their mismatch right now. The Bills cannot win on the outside with the receivers they have without Joshua Palmer, particularly against this Chiefs team that is just loaded at cornerback. So the matchup to take advantage of has been running backs and tight ends, and so far so good for the Bills. As far as Max Harrison goes, I think it's very encouraging. You're seeing him still flip flop drives with Tre'Davious White. I hope that we are about a week or two away from Max Harrison just taking firm control of that job. By the way, I'm not supposed to touch my hat. I've been given that feedback that I touch my hat. Stokes, you're in chat. Yell at me if I touch my hat. But you're seeing Max Harrison line up on Xavier Worthy and press him, and the Bills are perfectly content with that. Stokes in chat. The Bills are doing this crazy thing where they're trusting the protection and letting routes develop downfield. Craziness. Yeah, so far it's hard to really find any fault with what the Bills are doing. If you want to get mad about receivers not getting open, they don't have the horses right now at receiver. But Josh Allen's 15 for 17, and Stokes is absolutely right. This team's bread is buttered with Josh Allen, the offensive line, and James Cook. That offensive line cuts two ways. It's not just James Cook running the ball. It's pass blocking for Josh Allen, and the touchdown to Dalton Kincaid was a fantastic route. Tranquil just fell. And then I don't know how you guys were thinking out there. I thought McDermott had questionable time management at the end when he called a timeout when the Chiefs got down to the 1 yard line. My initial reaction was, no, don't call your timeout because the Chiefs only have one left. Make them hurry up or burn their timeout. And then, that takes the running play out of it. Ismaili says, love what I'm seeing so far. Hope we can keep it going. That's the challenge, right? Like, this is the Chiefs. They're the champs. They're Super Bowl champions and Super Bowl runners up for a reason. They get down, they don't quit. But we talked about it all week. The Bills do not fear the Chiefs. Okay. The Bills punch with the Chiefs every time they play. Right now, the reason why a lot of us felt bad about this matchup for the Bills was one, the Bills' injuries are just piling up and the Chiefs are getting healthy. It is November 2nd. It's not January 2nd. So whatever happens today, however healthy you are today, does not mean that's what it's going to look like in January. But the way the two teams were playing, you didn't necessarily expect the Bills to come out and look like they have. I think there's a noticeable difference on the Bills defensively with the guys that have been inserted as of last week. Michael Hoyt, Larry Ogunjobi, and most notably Maxwell Harrison, who allows this team to play man coverage against receivers that can run. The McChronicle, that flip throw he made, vintage Josh Allen came out for once. Yes, that was a sight for sore eyes. We saw him try it in the Atlanta game, and it didn't work. It feels like Josh Allen is kind of feeling himself. I want to check his rushing yards. I don't feel like, yeah, he's got 1 for 1 yard. I still feel like there's been some opportunities where he could have run or vintage Josh Allen would have gotten out of it. Still curious if we're going to see that. You would figure if it's any opponent in the regular season you'd see it against, it would be these Chiefs. Um, I didn't hear Worthy name all game. Is it because of Max? Okay, so I've been watching with my volume down. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but was it Worthy who caught the Chiefs bomb that got them down to scoring position? Because now that I'm saying that, I'm feeling like it was number 5 who's not Worthy. Who was that caught the Chiefs bomb? Bum, 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 bum. That was Hollywood Brown. Good call. Worthy hasn't done anything. I'm sorry. I'm watching with a group of people. I can't lock in as much as I would like to. So yeah, you haven't heard Worthy as much. Right now, Tre'Davious White is still rotating in. And thanks, Stokes. That was Hollywood Brown. So I still feel like that's an advantage they're gonna take when White's out there. But there's been a few changes on defense that are notable. One, you have Michael Hoyt helping the pass rush. Two, Greg Rousseau is healthy. Three, Max Harrison is out there. And four, and it sounds insensitive to say, but it's the truth, Taylor Rapp isn't out there. And that's just the truth. I don't care if it's Jordan Poyer. I don't care if it's Cam Lewis, who's playing nickelback today. By the way, seems like he's doing pretty well. I don't care who's at safety. Jordan Hancock, they're better than Taylor Rapp, who's been abysmal this season. Justin L says, still need to see Coleman do something, please. That would be nice. There's a lot of pressure on Keon Coleman, I think, the rest of this season. This is the game that obviously we all circle because we all know the moment that the Bills traded out of the pick that could have been Xavier Worthy, and they elected to go with Keon Coleman. So far, Worthy's been the better pro. Coleman's really struggled to find his footing. But I'm not going to worry too much about it. Now, if Wednesday's here and the Bills have not injected any life into this receiving group with the trade deadline, we will be having an angry midweek show. Benford had Brown. Yeah, that's a speed mismatch. That's tricky. I mean, Mahomes is going to get you. They have so much speed out there. And then you have someone like Thornton too. Bishop will be a very good starter come playoff time. Jonas, I'm glad you said that because what the Bills have done with Bishop this year is exactly what I wanted to see them do. Let him ride out the growing pains. It is not about how good Cole Bishop is in September or October. Let him get the rust off. You are seeing him get better every week. And I know what Jonas is referring to is he was this close to a pick six, and we saw him make a similar play. I want to say it was against the Saints in the red zone. Bishop has all of the athleticism to be as good as he wants to be in the league, but he doesn't have the instincts right now. He is more of a box safety, but every time he takes a rep in NFL game action, he gets better. He's learning. He's getting more comfortable in the system. I am so excited to see what his future is and to see what kind of player he can be come January. I also am excited to see Jordan Hancock, to see how much he's playing today. I have not been tracking that, if you guys have been seeing that in chat, but I'd love to see more Jordan Hancock out there. So we have about 5 minutes left until the Bills and Chiefs take the field in the second half. Keys to the second half. One, do what Stokes said. Trust your offensive line. They are giving Josh Allen time. I also say make them stop the run. That is your best offense. You run. They have to bring their guys up to stop the run, and then you can play action out of your 21 personnel, which is your biggest mismatch right now. So I feel like right now the Bills are in a good spot to keep doing what they're doing. The tricky part is the Chiefs get the ball, start the second half, and we'll see if the Bills can avoid the double dip. Massive stand by the defense. Massive stand by the defense, though, to keep the Chiefs out of the end zone. Were you guys surprised that the Chiefs decided to go for the field goal there? I was happy they did, but I understand why Andy Reid did it. That is a friend of the show, Kendall. She's a Chiefs fan. She's young. Give her some leeway there. She's a Chiefs fan. She's watching with me, but we'll let her go on that one. I was surprised too, Justin. I thought Andy Reid would go for it there, but I guess when you call what are your two best plays, which is when you have a timeout in your pocket, Kareem Hunt running, and then when whatever the pass play was they tried to do and it didn't work. I think they did what the McChronicle said was you can't come away with not getting points. And then that's what Stokes was saying too. What you can't have happen there is not give yourself the opportunity to double dip. I think Stokes is spot on. If they weren't getting the ball coming out of the second half, I think they may have been a little bit more aggressive in that spot. But the fact that they do get the ball coming out of the second half, it gives them an opportunity to see if they can, close the gap on this game and tie it up with an 8-point drive. So something to keep an eye on. Travis Kelce went back to the locker room early. He got banged up on that hit by Cole Bishop where the ball was behind him. I'm sure he'll come back in the game. It's Travis Kelce. Sounds like Bills fans were giving him a little bit of serenading as he walked off the field. It's a love-hate relationship with Bills fans and Travis Kelce. But how we feeling? Are the Bills going to come away with the win? What do you think? We have Bishop has looked nuts today. I love it. Yeah, it's such a simplistic point, guys, but it's the truth. The speed that is now on the Bills defense that just wasn't there 2 weeks ago is a massive difference. When you talk about getting Taylor Rapp out of the game, you talk about having Max Harrison in the game. You still have Cole Bishop, who's learning and getting better every week. He's got speed. When you watch the AFC Championship game from last year, particularly after Benford went out, the biggest takeaway from watching that game back is fast Chiefs receivers and slow Bills cornerbacks. And it's like the Bills went out this offseason and did everything they could do to get slower. But now they're finally playing their first round pick cornerback, Max Harrison, who's been hurt. Cole Bishop's playing well. And I'm super excited to see Jordan Hancock out there. Sam, pay no attention to Kendall. She is a youngin' in there. She's just having a good time. She's like giving me a hard time. Don't worry about that. Let's go Bills from Let's Go Buffalo. And then we have McChronicle. Honestly, the game in January is the one we all care about more than the regular season game. Honestly, no matter what happens, won't lose sleep over it. I don't agree, McChronicle. Here's the thing. This entire season was about getting the number 1 seed. The path has been there all season long. Now, there's a separate conversation to be had about the Patriots, who, with their schedule and with their play, are a bigger threat than any of us thought they could be, and a lot of us thought they'd be good. But if you kind of set them aside right now, especially with the Colts losing today, I feel like whatever team wins today has the inside track to get the 1 seed. I feel like whatever team loses today has the inside track to start the playoffs on the road in Baltimore. A lot's going to happen in the next 2 months. I don't have to be right about that. But to me, this isn't just a bragging rights random November game between the Bills and the Chiefs where it's like, haha, Bills, you're November champions. No, this to me is a game where you're going to look back on it when the playoff seedings come around and wish you had it in your pocket. So Devin, Lily, and Kendall are Chiefs fans. We are just hearing this loud and clear up here. And let's see. One last comment here. A win here sets us up well for the run in the playoffs. A loss to an AFC opponent that doesn't do us any favors. The other point is, look, the Bills can still, with a loss to the McChronicles point, if the Bills lose this game, they can still win their division. They can still accomplish everything they want to this season. But I do think it gets really tricky to picture them winning the 1 seed with a loss here. There's just too many teams in front of them, and then you lose the tiebreaker to the Chiefs. So finish this game out. Let's have a happy post-game show. Luca and I'll be back on tomorrow morning, everywhere your podcast can be found, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, to talk about whatever happens in the second half. I'll be back next week for Bills Dolphins halftime show. And then Luca and I'll be back on Wednesday for a live show, hopefully talking about a Bills victory over the Chiefs, but also talking about a trade the Bills made. Toodles to you, Sam. Slay by Riz to Kendall. And I will talk to you all next week on the Bills Chat halftime show.